Okay, next question. Where did Mick Mars acquire his name? I know he didn't come up with that on his own, that he stole it.
That was from Michelle Myers.
Oh, okay.
She used to be lead singer for the first WhiteHorse group back in the middle 70s. She sang for them till about probably 78.
And she sang alongside Mick as he played, correct?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Dave Day, Harry, Jack was the first drummer, and then Mike, I think, took over a little later.
So he took the name from her. That was her stage name. That doesn't sound very like a cool thing to do, like a very cool thing to do.
Well, it came back on her years later because she left and she married a man up north, and I think she started a group, and she tried to use the name Mick Mars with her new group, and they said, you can't record with this.
Oh, yeah.
This is trademark. We'll get
And like we were discussing earlier, I think her name was very similar. It was Mickey Mars with an I at the end.
Yes.
And then a Z after Mars. So M-I-C-K-I-M-A-R-Z. That's how she spelled it. So she couldn't use her own name. She would have been sued because it was trademarked.
Yeah,
huh?
it was trademarked. So basically, Bob slash Mick stole it from her, and she couldn't even use her own name at that time.
Kind of like how he took your guitar, huh?
Well, yeah, the same thing, which is, I guess, good for him because he made a lot of money with it. But I just think when he owes it to the people that helped him and he stole from in the past, to look back and give them a helping hand, or at least say thanks. It's like the drum kit that was.
Oh, the upside down drum set, yeah.
That came from the WhiteHorse. Dave Day is the one who started that group, and I'm not sure whose idea it was, but that upside drum set came from that band. In fact, you can get that on
YouTube.
So.
And also Mickey Mars, I believe there's some pictures of her on maybe YouTube, Google. I saw some stuff. I saw a writer, if you dig deep enough on the internet, he admitted that Mick stole the name from her. So here's the thing, too. I know some Motley Crue fans are upset and bitter at you, but you're just telling the true story, how this all happened. And it's kind of funny because they called the book The Dirt, and it's a misleading title because The Dirt would make you think you would know everything, warts and all, the good and the bad about Motley Crue. But all that stuff was cherry-picked, sanitized, sterilized. And this is the true story you're telling, the origins of Motley Crue. And I think some people should be a little more grateful about it.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of crap was in the dirt, but I'm sure there is truth to it too. So
yeah.
You got to read in between the lines.
Gee, a rock star trying to make themselves look better and whitewashing their story. I'm sure that's never happened in the history of show business. It's unthinkable.
Well, you just can't do that with Google search and YouTube and all the things that have came along, because they came from the same planet that we live on. So.
This brings up another subject, because they like to say, how come you didn't come out about that years ago? Well, duh. They didn't have Facebook or, not Facebook and YouTube and all these mediums back then in the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
That's it. That's exactly, because I felt bad. No, thank you or anything back in those days.
Yeah.
In fact, I went to YouTube and loaded that down. We didn't have that. That was probably 2000. I'm not sure when it went to his house, but it's probably 2003.
I think that lady was on to something, when she came up with that name, Mick Mars. Well, of course she was, because it was successful. Mickey or Mick Mars. Because it's like a name that's out there, like Freddie Mercury, Mick Mars, And the name Dave Day was pretty cool, too, that the other guy that the guy in the band had. But and I listened to some of WhiteHorse's music, and I thought, it was pretty good. It kind of like 70s progressive rock, and they probably could have become famous in their own right,
Yeah, Dave Day did talk to me, and he told me the reason that they broke up is because the first Mick Mars left the group and got married to some guy up north. So she broke up the band, and he was very downhearted about that. So I guess you could argue the name wasn't being used, but
yeah,
maybe he owes it to thank her for the name.
But apparently, or evidently, she tried to use it again, and they wouldn't let her use it. So
Yeah.
he did. He did her wrong, basically.
Yeah, that's
And I really think, I just wanted to add one thing after, knowing this story and making these videos with you. I think it's abundantly clear, at least in my mind, that this is why he doesn't want to reconnect with you and, people from his past or his old WhiteHorse people, because, you all this stuff about him. He stole that name. He stole that,
Yeah,
and he took your guitar, and, that's a pretty lousy thing to do.